close your eyes for a moment, just a moment, and imagine that you are an antenna that captures signals all the time, whether you're asleep or awake, whether you're happy or sad, whether you're conscious or distracted. Now tell me, if your antenna is dirty, rusty, misaligned, what do you think will reach you? Static, noise, distorted information. You can spend the entire day trying to avoid the rays, trying to protect yourself from storms, but if the receiver is compromised, everything that reaches you arrives broken. This is the first great truth about negative energy that no one tells you. You don't need to avoid the outside world. You need to clean the receiver inside here. Perhaps you've already been through this. You wake up in the morning and already feel a weight. You enter an environment and the air seems denser. You meet someone and even without exchanging a word, you leave exhausted. And you ask yourself, why does this happen to me? Why do I attract so much heavy energy? Why does it seem like I'm a magnet for what I don't want to feel? And then you begin the search. You do smudging, take salt baths, light candles, place crystals, pray, ask for protection. And sometimes it works for a while, but then the weight returns, and it returns with the same force as before, and you feel frustrated, tired, as if you're always running in circles. But there's a paradox hidden in this search that needs to be revealed. And it's a paradox that hurts, but also liberates. When you spend the entire day fighting against negative energy, combating the weight, trying to expel what bothers you, what happens to your attention? It's completely focused on negativity. And attention is energy. What you fight, you feed. What you try to forcefully expel, you water with fear. Every time you say, I don't want this energy, your body vibrates at its frequency. Every time you perform a ritual with desperation, with urgency, with the feeling that something bad needs to be torn out of you, your subconscious understands one thing. There is something dangerous in here. There is something dirty in here. And this belief, my friend, this belief is the true home of negative energy. Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of the greatest researchers in epigenetics, spent decades studying how cells respond to the environment. And he discovered something that changes everything. He discovered that the cell doesn't fight the virus. The healthy cell simply maintains its membrane integrity, maintains its internal coherence, and the virus, upon encountering this organized environment, simply cannot attach itself. The cell doesn't spend energy fighting the invader. It spends energy maintaining its own integrity. Do you understand the difference? The cell doesn't live in a state of war. It lives in a state of presence. And its presence, not fighting, that protects it. The same happens with you. When you try to cleanse your aura like someone scrubbing a stain, with anger, with fear, with the feeling that you're dirty, you're only confirming to your body that there's something wrong with you. And your body obediently will continue to produce the chemistry of impurity. It will continue to vibrate at the frequency of fear. It will continue to attract exactly what you don't want. Dr. Joe Dispenza, another giant in this field, teaches us about heart coherence. He says that when you can align your heart and mind in a state of gratitude, appreciation, unconditional love, your electromagnetic field expands and becomes ordered. And an ordered, organized, coherent field does not resonate with chaos. It's like a tuning fork tuned to a specific note. If you play an out-of-tune note near it, it won't vibrate along. It will remain in its own frequency. Cleansing the aura, therefore, is not an act of house cleaning. It's not you removing dirt with your hands. It's an act of quantum reorganization of your system. It's you returning to tune into your own original note. And this leads me to the question that could change everything for you today. The question I want you to carry throughout this entire video. A simple question, but powerful. A question that will echo in your silence in the coming days. The question is, what if the negative energy you feel isn't yours? What if it doesn't come from you, isn't born in you, doesn't belong to you? But you, for some reason, for some habit, for some old belief, offer it shelter within you. You offer it refuge, offer it food, offer it attention, and it stays. It settles in. It makes a home. Cleansing the aura, then, is not removing dirt. It's remembering who owns the house. It's reassuming control of the territory. It's saying, with the gentleness of one who knows who they are, not here. This is no longer your place. Let's start by dismantling an idea you might have carried for a long time. The idea that negative energy is something mysterious, something coming from outside, something almost supernatural that attacks you without warning. I need to tell you something with all the clarity I can muster. Negative energy is not an entity. It's not a demon. It's not an evil spirit that decided to pursue you. Negative energy is simply low coherence information. It's fear, it's guilt, it's resentment, it's hopelessness. It's the feeling that life isn't worth living. It's the memory of a betrayal you relive every day. It's the inner voice that says you're not good enough. All of this is information. All of this is frequency. And similar frequencies, my friend, attract each other. It's the most basic law of the universe. When you carry fear within yourself, You emit a frequency of fear. And what does the universe find to send you? More situations that match fear. More people who vibrate fear. More news that confirms the world is dangerous. It's not punishment. It's not retribution. It's resonance. It's pure physics. It's like a tuning fork that vibrates when the right note is played. You can't blame the universe for giving you more of the same when you spend the entire day emitting the same note. Now comes the invisible mistake. The mistake that almost no one notices, but that keeps so many people trapped in the pain cycle. This mistake is called thinking you need to feel to heal. There's a widespread spiritual belief that to heal an emotion, you need to relive it, need to feel the pain again, need to cry again, need to stir the wound again. And in some contexts, this can be true. But most of the time, the opposite happens. The person relives the pain thinking they're processing it, but in reality, they're just refeeding the neural circuit. They're watering the same plant every day hoping it will die. Dr. Bruce Lipton explains this with impressive clarity. He says the conscious mind may want to change, may even desire healing, may even make positive affirmations. But if the subconscious, that deeper part of you, is running the victim program, the poor me program, the program of one who deserves to suffer, the body vibrates as a victim. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself otherwise, the body doesn't lie. The body is the truth of your subconscious. Biology responds to spirituality, but the spirituality that truly matters is the one engraved in your cells, not the one you repeat with your lips. Think of a slow computer, a computer that freezes with every simple task you try to do. What do? You can install the best antivirus in the world. You can run disk cleanup every day. You can hire a specialist to look at the system. But if the processor is overheating, if the RAM is overloaded, if the hardware can't take it anymore, none of that solves it. The problem isn't the software. The problem is the structure that supports the software. It's the same with you. You can do the best energy cleansing rituals. You can take salt baths 3 times a day. You can burn incense until there's no air left in the room. But if your nervous system is in chronic stress, if your biology is in a permanent state of alert, the ritual won't penetrate. True energy cleansing begins with regulating the nervous system. It begins with you turning off the internal alarm that keeps going off nonstop. Perhaps you've already experienced this. You take an energy bath, a cleansing, a session with someone, and the next day you're worse than before, heavier, more tired, more irritated. Do you know why this happens? Because your body interpreted the ritual as confirmation that something bad is in you. The intention to cleanse without reprogramming the belief can fix the feeling of impurity even more. It's as if you said to yourself, I need to cleanse myself because I'm dirty. And your body hears, I'm dirty. And it produces the chemistry of dirt. And you enter an infinite cleansing loop that never ends. There's an image that helps me a lot when I think about this. The image of a still river. A river that doesn't run, doesn't flow, doesn't move. What happens to still water? It gets dirty. It stagnates. It accumulates sludge, accumulates mosquitoes, accumulates filth. But can you clean a still river by removing the dirt with your hands? Can you remove the sludge bucket by bucket? No, you cannot. Because as long as the river doesn't flow again, as long as the source isn't cleared, the dirt will return. Negative energy only accumulates where consciousness has stopped flowing, where you stopped moving, where you stopped questioning, where you stopped renewing yourself. True cleansing isn't you removing dirt from the river with your hands. It's you clearing the source. It's you returning to the spring. It's you remembering where the water that moves you comes from. Let's talk about the aura. This word's so used, so repeated, but so little understood. What really is the aura? The aura is not a colored light that appears in Kirlian photographs. The aura is not a mystical field that only psychics can see. The aura is the electromagnetic signature of your internal state. It's the sum of everything you are. It's made of your deepest beliefs, your oldest emotional memories, the quality of your repetitive thoughts. It's like an energetic fingerprint, unique, yours. And that transmits to the world exactly who you are. Now think, if your beliefs are of scarcity, your aura transmits scarcity. If your memories are of abandonment, your aura transmits abandonment. If your repetitive thoughts are of fear, your aura transmits fear. And the world, my friend, the world responds to what you transmit. Not to what you desire, not to what you pretend, to what you are. But there's a silent factor that few people notice. A factor that knocks down your invisible shield without you having the slightest idea. This factor is called toxic compassion. You've learned your whole life that feeling with others is virtue, that caring is nobility, that carrying others' pain is proof of love. And in part, this is true. But without awareness, without boundaries, without the perception of where you end and the other begins, this compassion becomes energetic entanglement. You start absorbing others' pain as if it were yours. You start carrying a weight that doesn't belong to you. You start getting sick from what belongs to another. And I need to ask you, how many times have you left a conversation exhausted without knowing why? How many times have you felt heavy after listening to someone's venting? How many times have you carried home the sadness of someone you love? This isn't being too sensitive. This is blurred boundaries. This is a dropped shield. You don't need to carry others' pain to prove you care. You can listen, welcome, extend a hand without needing to absorb. True compassion doesn't make you sick. True compassion strengthens you to help. If it empties you, it's not compassion. It's energetic codependency. Now comes the most silent factor of all. The factor that keeps your aura's doors wide open without you realizing it. This factor is called unconscious guilt. People who feel unworthy at deep levels, people who carry old guilts, often from childhood, often from past lives, often from things they don't even remember anymore. These people don't allow their aura to close. They keep the doors open as a form of punishment. As if they were saying, I don't deserve protection. I don't deserve peace. I don't deserve to be safe. So energy enters, and the person suffers, and never understands why. True cleansing, the one that truly transforms, involves forgiving yourself for something you often don't even know you carry. It involves telling your body, you can rest now. You can close the doors now. You are safe now. There's a simple exercise I want to invite you to do now. If you can, stop for a moment, just breathe, and bring your attention to your body. Just feel, where is the tension? Where is the tightness? Where is the weight? Don't try to change anything, just observe. Then, place your hand on your heart, and breathe slowly and deeply. 3 long breaths, just that. Now, without creating an imaginary shield, without visualizing any light, simply say to yourself, I am here, I inhabit this body, this is my home, and presence, just presence, is already the shield. Because when you are present, when you truly inhabit your own body, the energy that isn't yours finds no space to attach. It's like an inhabited house. The invader only enters where no one lives. The analogy of the house with open windows. You can clean the dust that comes in every day. You can sweep the floor morning, afternoon, and night. You can wipe the furniture until you're exhausted. But as long as the windows are open, the dust will return. True cleansing isn't sweeping endlessly. True cleansing is knowing when to close the window. It's knowing how to say no to what doesn't serve you. It's knowing how to discern what is yours and what belongs to another. Cleansing the aura is this. It's you learning to close the window at the right time, without guilt, without fear, without thinking you're being selfish. It's you understanding that protecting your own energy isn't lack of love. It's self-love. It's the love you owe yourself before you can give it to the world. Now, I need to tell you something that might sound strange at first. Something that goes against everything you've learned about energy cleansing. But if you can listen with an open heart, this could change everything. The revelation is this. You don't cleanse energy by fighting it. You cleanse energy by becoming the witness of it. When you feel a dense, heavy, dark emotion, what do you usually do? Most people try to get rid of it. Try to push it away. Try to replace it with a positive thought. Try to pray for it to pass. Try to distract the mind. But all of this is resistance. And resistance, my friend, is fuel. What you resist persists. What you try to push away returns with more force. It's the oldest law of the human psyche. But there's another way, a forgotten way, a way that the ancient masters knew, and that modern neuroscience is rediscovering. This way is called witnessing. When you observe the dense emotion without fear, without judgment, without trying to change it, without wanting it to go away, something extraordinary happens. You remove the fuel that keeps it alive. The emotion only exists as long as you feed it with reactive attention. When you simply observe, like someone watching a cloud pass in the sky, it begins to dissipate, not because you fought it, but because you no longer gave it energy. Why do most people fail when trying to meditate to cleanse themselves? Because they enter the practice with a hidden intention, often unconscious, which is the intention to get rid of thoughts. They sit, close their eyes, and begin an internal war against their own mind. Every thought that appears is an enemy to be fought. Every emotion that arises is a failure to be corrected. And what happens? More war, more friction, more resistance. And energetic resistance, my friend, is friction. And friction generates more dirt. You enter meditation wanting peace and leave more exhausted than when you started. Neuroscience explains this beautifully. When you observe a brainwave, a thought, an emotion, without reacting to it, your prefrontal cortex, the most evolved part of your brain, activates, and at the same time, the amygdala circuit, which is the fear center, calms down. You literally turn off the body's alarm, not because the danger has passed, but because you chose not to respond to the alarm as if it were danger. You chose to observe. And in observation, fear loses its power. Nature gives us a powerful lesson about this. Observe the earth. What does the earth do with garbage? It doesn't repel. It doesn't fight. It simply welcomes. It takes organic matter in decomposition and, through time and the silent action of microorganisms, transforms that into fertilizer, transforms that into nutrients, transforms that into new life. The earth is not disgusted by garbage. It doesn't panic when something dies upon it. It simply does what it knows how to do, transforms. You have within yourself the same capacity. You have the capacity to take any dense energy, any dark emotion, any heavy feeling, and through patient observation, through loving presence, transform that into wisdom, transform that into strength, transform that into compassion. But for this, you need to stop interfering, need to stop trying to control, need to give space, need to give time. Need to trust that your body knows how to cleanse itself if you don't get in the way. The fatal mistake of those who try to control energy is thinking they can tame the current. You cannot control a river's current. You cannot tell it, stop here, go there, come back now. The current is stronger than you, but you can make a very simple choice. You can decide not to enter the river. Negative energy only drags you if you enter its story, if you buy into the drama, if you believe the fear, if you dive into the guilt. But if you stay on the bank, observing, just observing, the current passes, and you remain whole, dry, at peace. Now let's talk about daily life. Because a deep cleansing is useless if tomorrow you start accumulating the same way again. The invisible maintenance. You don't shower once a month. You don't brush your teeth once a week. Why would energy cleansing be any different? Accumulation happens in small daily oversights. A repeated thought of worry. A complaint that becomes a habit. A news story you watch with a tight heart. A conversation that drains your energy. All of this leaves layers, forms crusts, creates a dense field around you. And when you realize it, you're heavy again. There are many myths about energy protection. The most common is thinking that protecting the aura is visualizing a white light around the body. It's not that this doesn't work. It can work as a reminder, as an intention. But if your biology is in stress, if your body is producing cortisol nonstop, if your nervous system is on maximum alert, the white light is nothing but a weak thought against the chemistry of fear. Real protection, the one that truly works, is the biochemistry of trust. It's the chemistry of internal safety. It's you, through small daily practices, telling your body, it's okay, you can relax, you are safe. And how do you do this? The secret to maintaining coherence is just one: alignment. Alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. When there's internal contradiction, when you think one thing, feel another, and act in a third way, your field vibrates in short circuit. It's as if you had several radios on, at the same time at different frequencies. The result is static. It's noise. It's confusion. And this confusion attracts chaos. External chaos is just a mirror of internal chaos. If you think you deserve peace, but treat yourself with neglect. If you think you deserve love, but blame yourself for everything. If you think you deserve prosperity, but feel unworthy deep down, your field will vibrate this contradiction, and the universe will respond with situations that reflect this incoherence. Not because the universe is cruel, but because the universe is a perfect mirror. It can only give you back what you emit. Now, a mental model that can transform your relationship with anxiety. Anxiety is creative energy misdirected. It's the same energy that could be creating your new reality, but is trapped in fear of the future. Instead of trying to forcefully calm the mind, instead of trying to silence thoughts, try redirecting this energy into something concrete, a physical action, a movement, a walk, a dance, a stretch. Physical action organizes the field. It breaks the circuit of mental rumination. It brings energy back to the body where it can be transformed. Anxiety isn't resolved in the head. Anxiety is resolved in the body. And finally, the analogy of the wise gardener. A gardener who understands plants doesn't pull out the weeds with anger. He doesn't fight them. He doesn't waste energy hating the unwanted growth. He simply nourishes the soil so much, cares so much for the seeds he wants to see grow, that the weeds lose space, lose strength, lose their place. Cleansing the aura is an act of nourishing your essence. It's not a war against shadows. It's cultivating the light. The more you water what is beautiful within you, the less space remains for what is not. The more you feed gratitude, presence, love, the more dense energies wither from lack of attention, not because you killed them, but because you stopped feeding them. We've reached the end of this journey, but actually, it's not an end. It's just a beginning of a new way of relating to your own energy. And I want to finish by rescuing a memory you carry deep in your soul, even without knowing it. The original memory, the memory of who you are before any dirt, before any weight, before any negative energy. You are not a dirty being in need of cleansing. You are a being of light who forgot your nature and accumulated dust by mistake. The dust doesn't define the table. The dirt doesn't define the river. The clouds don't define the sky. You could spend your whole life trying to clean the dust, but if you identify with it, if you think the dust is you, you'll never feel truly clean. True cleansing is remembering that you are the table, not the dust, that you are the river, not the sludge, that you are the sky, not the clouds. Dr. Bruce Lipton teaches us that when you change the perception of the cell, you change the destiny of the cell. When the cell believes it's in a safe environment, it dedicates itself to growing, reproducing, thriving. When it believes it's in danger, it closes up, contracts, protects itself.